There have been 323 official no-hitters since the great year of 1876, but it wasn't until 1991 that Major League Baseball decided to truly define what a no-hitter is. So let's look at how that came to be, and look at the many no-hitters that aren't actually no-hitters.
Totally Sportsesque. Major League.
A very important game in the eventual development of the true definition of a no-hitter came in 1990. On July 1st, the Yankees and White Sox were both scoreless going into the bottom of the 8th, when suddenly the White Sox took control by scoring 4 runs in the inning, thanks in main part to the Yankees making 3 errors in the inning, with 2 runners getting on by way of the old base on balls. The Yankees ended up losing 4-0, but this game made headlines everywhere, because with most probably not even noticing, Andy Hawkins did not give up a hit in his 8 innings. He walked 5 and 3 got on by error, and he gave up 4 unearned runs, but he gave up no hits. So naturally, there was a lot of discussion involving the game. And no matter the debates that ensued after the game, Hawkins' efforts did not go down as no-hitter, as a year later on September 4th, 1991, Commissioner Faye Vincent changed the definition of a no-hitter to require that a pitcher must throw at least 9 innings and a complete game for a no-hitter to be official, which took away Hawkins' no-hitter credits. The decision didn't just come out of nowhere, or was only looked into because of what Hawkins did. Instead, it was a byproduct of the formation of the Committee on Statistical Accuracy. That's not some Facebook group for people with a bunch of free time, but rather a group formed by Faye Vincent to help settle the issue of if Babe Ruth and Roger Maris should share the single-season record for home runs. Babe Ruth hit 60 in a 154-game season, and Maris hit 61 in a 162-game season. And the books listed Ruth as the home run king for a 154-game season, while Maris was the king for a 162-game season. Vincent was inspired by a Roger Engel article in The New Yorker, calling for the commissioner to make Maris the sole leader. Vincent said in a 2022 interview regarding this, "We couldn't have 2 sets of records. It was an embarrassment. It smacked of Ford Frick determining that Roger Maris was a poor successor to Babe Ruth." The committee proclaimed Maris to be the sole single-season home run king, which was well received, although some were a little upset over the new definition of a no-hitter, as just mentioned. The decision took away many no-hitters from the official record books, with one other like Hawkins, this one coming in 1890 by Silver King, while he was pitching for Chicago in the Players League, in which he threw 8 no-hit innings, but as he gave up a run on a fielder's choice, and because the home team opted to bat first, as was allowed in this time, he didn't pitch the 9th. So, the no-hitter was revoked. Vincent had a main say in the new definition, and felt the reaction to Hawkins' supposed no-hitter was silly considering how many no-hitters have reached the graveyards in the 9th. Many on this committee didn't have plans to remove no-hitters from the books, but Vincent had the final say, and Silver King had to come back to life to update his Wikipedia bio. And in the years after the new definition, 3 games with similar outcomes came about that would be considered no-hitters prior to 1991. Not even a year after this new definition, Matt Young went against Cleveland and walked 7 while giving up 2 runs in the first 3 innings on an error and a fielder's choice, but gave up no hits over 8 innings as the Red Sox lost 2-1 in Cleveland. In 2008, Jared Weaver gave up a run to the Dodgers in the 5th after 2 errors and a sac fly allowed Matt Kemp to score the only run in the game, as Weaver pitched 6 no-hit innings and Jose Arredondo pitched 2 for a combined non-no-hitter. Then just in 2022, that happened again, as Hunter Green pitched 7.1 no-hit innings, then Art Warren came in to walk the bases loaded after Green's 2 walks, and a fielder's choice scored the only run of the game for the most recent combined non-no-hitter. Many of these no-hitters that were redacted also didn't complete 9 innings because of the circumstances or prior agreements. Because light wasn't invented until the 1950s, many games were called due to darkness. And if a pitcher was throwing a no-hitter to that point with at least 5 innings pitched, then it was a no-hitter, which is why Red Amos was thought to be the only pitcher to throw a no-hitter in his debut. But it was only a 5-inning game, so no one has thrown a no-hitter in their debut, not including Bumpus Jones in 1892, although George Nickel threw 7 no-hit innings in a shortened game in 1890. There had also been 2 non-no-hitters called because games had to end early so teams could catch the train to their next game. Not much of a concern in the modern age. And of course, many games that were called due to rain in the midst of a no-hitter were listed as no-hitters, including that of Mike McCormick in 1959, who had a no-hitter going into the bottom of the 6th against the Phillies. Then after walking 2 batters, he gave up a single, but then the rain came down and the game was eventually called. Because the inning wasn't completed, the game was reverted back to the last full inning, meaning Mike McCormick was listed as having 5 no-hit innings. This rule would unsurprisingly be changed to prevent reversions. And the last no-hitter ended prematurely due to darkness came in 1944 for Jim Tobin's 5 innings. While Melito Perez's 6 no-hit innings called off due to rain in 1990 was the last before the new 1991 definition. But just 1 year after the great year of 2020, things resorted back to 100 years ago. As for a quick refresher, doubleheaders were scheduled to be just 7 innings as they were in 2020, and just 1 month into 2021, Diamondbacks legend Madison Bumgarner threw a 7-inning no-hitter against the Braves. But it won't go down as a no-hitter by definition, which led to a kind of awkward post-celebration. Then for an even more awkward post-celebration, the Rays threw a combined no-hitter with 5 pitchers in July of the same year. There were a record 9 no-hitters that season, and it would be 11 with the old textbook. Then there's the most interesting and unfortunate no-hitters taken away. Prior to the new definition in 1991, no-hitters that were carried in the extras and lost were still considered no-hitters. The first to ever carry a no-hitter in the extras was Earl Moore in 1901, who gave up his first hit in the 10th, pitching for the Cleveland Blues, and went on to be the losing pitcher in a 4-2 game. Harry McIntyre in 1906 would carry a no-hitter into the 13th and lose. And the already mentioned Red Amos did the same in 1909. And there's been a couple recent incidents. This isn't exactly recent, but in 1995, Pedro Martinez pitched 9 perfect innings, and in what seems to be a rarity for a no-hitter/perfect game that goes into extras, his team scored a run for him in the top half, giving Pedro a chance to complete the first ever extra inning perfect game. But he gave up a double to start the inning, and was relieved by Mel Rojas, who helped him pick up the win. In 2017, Rich Hill went up against one of his future teams. Pick any team and there's a chance you're right, but this time it was the Pirates. And not only did he carry a no-hitter into the 9th, he also had a perfect game in the 9th, until an error by Logan Forsythe. He still managed to make it out of the inning with no hits allowed, and the Dodgers still didn't have a run, so Hill stayed out there for the 10th. And Josh Harrison led off the inning with a home run, to mark the only time a no-hitter ended on a walk-off home run. And 1 year after they had their bullpen 7-inning no-hitter, they had a chance to do it again, as 6 Rays pitchers combined to keep the Red Sox hitless for the first 9 innings. But then the 7th pitcher, Matt Weissler, surrendered a triple to start the 10th, though the Rays would come back to win. And less than a year ago, that same situation happened again, only the no-no lasted longer. Corbin Burns no-hit the Yankees for the first 8 innings, and as the Brewers couldn't manage to hit a ball 315 feet, Devin Williams no-hit 9th inning did not finish the job. Abner Uribe pitched another no-hit inning to bring things to the 11th, where the no-hitter and the lead was lost as the Brewers lost in 13 innings. Then there's the absolute ultimate version of the non-no-hitter thrown by Harvey Haddix on May 26, 1959. Going up against the Milwaukee Braves, who just won 2 straight pennants in a World Series and featured Hank Aaron, Eddie Matthews, and Joe Adcock in the lineup, Haddix pitched what many considered to be the greatest game ever pitched. Through 12 innings, he struck out 8, and much more than that, he was perfect. With the main problem being that his team did not score a run for him despite the chances, and after Haddix specifically told them to score runs. Lou Bird matched Haddix in runs given up through 13, but not in hits, as the Pirates recorded 12 hits off him and couldn't score once. Somehow Haddix hadn't completely lost his mind to this point, and went out for the 13th, where the perfect game ended on a throwing error. Eddie Matthews would bunt Mantilla to second, Hank Aaron would be intentionally walked, then it all came to an end when Joe Adcock hit one over the right center fence to end the game, and the no-hitter. It was actually later ruled a 1-run double, as Aaron thought the ball stayed in play and let Adcock pass him. Either way, Haddix was given one of the most heartbreaking losses and one of the best performances ever. And what made it even more incredible is that 3 decades later, the Braves admitted that they were stealing signs, and they still couldn't manage a base runner until the 13th, an incredible effort that was no longer recognized as a no-hitter after 1991. Though Haddix holds the record for the most consecutive outs to start a game, and the best excuse to slap your teammates. Some were and are still upset over the new definition that came about in 1991 that overruled many known no-hitters. But what Vincent said about the amount of no-hitters dying in the 9th shows that Carl Cashin's 6-inning no-hitter that came as a result of the game ending early so the Cleveland Nats could catch an Uber shouldn't really count. And one day, maybe the definition of a hit will change, taking even more hits away from Derek Jeter until he's forced to come back and try to become Mr. 3000 once again.